So he thinks he's king because he paid the bill. Because he picked up a dinner check, he feels like you need to bow down. This is not giving the head of a household. This is giving a utility company at work. That's what this is giving. We established in our last video that the survival contract is dead. You have got your own money, you've got your own career. So if his money is no longer the main event of the relationship, what is he actually for? Today we're focusing on what I call the purpose pivot. Because if he's not a bank, he better be something else. Because what is his actual job? Welcome back to She's Not Settling. My name is Svetlana. If you watched our last video, The Survival Contract, you know that we ripped the band-aid off. We admitted that the only reason women tolerated bare minimum behavior for centuries in marriages was because we needed to survive. We needed the access, we needed the bank account, we needed the social standing. But now, you have your own degree, you pay for your own mortgage, you've got your own credit score, and you've got your own multi-million-dollar business. The economic necessity of marriage has become obsolete and it has evaporated. And this is really pissing off a lot of men. Because for generations, their only value proposition was provider. If you take away the provider card, they feel unemployed. And unemployed men can be aggressive, conniving, controlling, and sometimes downright abusive because they need a method to channel their frustration. They don't know what the job is anymore. So today we are rewriting the job description. We are moving from transaction to covenant. We're going to talk about why some women are falling for scams like the Danish deception mess because they're looking for a provider instead of a purpose partner. So the question is, if money is off the table, what is a husband's actual job? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The ATM husband is obsolete. I see these comments all the time that women want to be the men. Women don't want to submit. That's not the truth. Correction. Women do want men. Women just no longer need financiers. And if your entire identity as a man is wrapped up in your ability to pay for dinner, you're going to struggle in this new dating economy. Because here's the thing. If I can buy my own dinner, I can pay for my own trip to Dubai, and I can buy my own Louis Vuitton bag. If I can do all that by myself, your money is no longer leverage. It's just a bonus. It's like the cherry on top of an ice cream sundae. And that is terrifying to men who have no character. You see, the thing is, money is the easiest thing to bring to the table. It requires zero emotional intelligence, zero spiritual depth, and zero vulnerability. It's simple. It's a transaction. I pay, you obey. But when you remove the need for money, you expose the man's character. And a lot of times, when you pull back that curtain, it's giving empty. It's giving Martin that grew up in a small village who thinks that a leased BMW defines him as a patriarch. So we're seeing a crisis of masculinity, not because men are under attack, but because they are being asked by women to level up beyond just their wallets. We are asking for leadership, not just liquidity. And a lot of men are showing up to the job interview underdressed and unprepared. Now I want us to tie back to something we discussed in the Danish deception video, because this is where the purpose pivot goes wrong. The question is, why do intelligent, successful women fall for this? She ignores her gut feeling and she gives him money anyway. She ignores that he does not live in affluence, but she chooses to keep up with the facade. Why did she do this, you ask? This is because she was still operating under the old contract, the image and idea of the provider. She saw the suits, the travel, the prince aesthetic, and she wanted the fairy tale ending. She wanted to be saved. She wanted to be the chosen one. She wanted the Cinderella story where the glass slipper only fits her. And this is the mistake that a lot of women make. These scammers know that even financially independent women still have the provider contract mindset programming deep down in them. We still want the king who can take care of everything. So this guy plays the role perfectly. He mirrors the provider image to the T, but it's all an act. It's giving a badly written theater script. Because if she had pivoted to purpose instead of provision, she would have realized that a man who's focused on his goals and his dreams will not borrow money from her. And he will stop anything that has to do with spending finances outside of him restructuring his business. Because a purpose partner has a vision that is bigger than looking rich on Instagram. But she was more focused on being able to post an Instagram picture every other day saying, "When Bae takes you out to dinner." And he played into this because he knows that when you're looking for a provider, you will look into what he has. But when you're looking for a purpose partner, you will look into who he is. He seduced her with the performance of wealth, and she paid the price for it. And this really pisses me off because it's a reminder of how vulnerable we can be when we choose not to raise our standards, when we allow a man to step into our lives. Because this is how we attract and we draw counterfeit kings. One of the ways you recognize a counterfeit king is if he sings the song to you, "I want a queen that will bring out the king in me," run faster than your legs can carry you. Because here's the thing, if you know that you're a king, you will work on bringing out the king within you. You will be vulnerable enough to admit where you need a woman to help you in an area where you are unable to. And you will give her the respect due and bend the knee to the queen you choose because she's the price, not you. And this brings us to kingdom marriages versus the business deal. So if we're not looking for a provider, then what are we looking for? Good question you ask. We are looking for kingdom marriages. We are looking for covenant. Now I know some of you hear kingdom marriages and you think trad wife. No. We're not doing that. Hear me out. A contract is based on distrust. You stop paying, I leave. Now, covenant, on the other hand, is built on a shared mission. We're building something together that neither of us has the capacity to achieve on our own. Let's go back to the beginning. Adam before Eve, what did he have? He had a job and he had a purpose. He was naming the animals and he was tilling the land. He had a vision from God for his life. God didn't give him a wife because he was lonely or because he was bored or because he needed somebody to cook. God gave him a helpmate because the assignment was too big for one person. So I want to challenge you with a litmus test and come back in the comment section and let me know how this goes. So the litmus test for the purpose pivot is this. Next time you go out on a date, whether it's somebody you recently started seeing or whether it's somebody you've been seeing for a couple of months, maybe even years, don't ask him how much money he makes or he has, but rather ask him what is he building. And then come back home, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, based on the answer that he gave you, is that something you are willing to help him build? Because if he's not building anything and his only goal in life is to make money, come home and play video games, and you stroke his ego, he has no need for a wife. He either needs his mother or he needs a maid. And I'm sorry to bring this up, but sidebar, a couple of weeks ago in our local newspaper, the papers reported that 111 divorces were filed in court in one day. People are getting divorced at a faster rate than they are getting married. And I'm sorry to sound judgmental, but this is because a lot of you are marrying men with no vision. You are submitting to a man who is lost. You're letting a man lead you who has no idea where he's going and then getting frustrated when he gets both of you lost. That is not submission. That is stupidity. Because if you want to talk submission, first have a clear understanding of who and what vision you are choosing. If a man does not have a clear vision, no morals, skewed values, and no fear for God, then what are you submitting to? You cannot submit to nothing. If he cannot articulate his purpose, then he cannot lead you, and that's on period. It doesn't matter if he's second or third in line for a promotion at his job. If he has no spiritual vision for his family, he is disqualified and has no business being a husband to anybody. So you ask, so what is the new job description? What is the purpose pivot? 3 things I'm going to say to you: a visionary, a peace protector, and a spiritual cover. Because what is the job if the money is out of the equation? What does the husband actually do? Number 1, he's the visionary. He sets the tone. He says this is the direction the family is going, and this is the legacy that we're building. He isn't just paying the mortgage, but he is designing the home's spiritual architecture, and he's saying this is the legacy for our children. Number 2, the protector of peace. We established in our last video about peace priority. A purpose partner protects your peace. He does not disrupt it. If being with him feels like a second job, then he's not a partner. He is a project, and we've already established that no more Barbara the Builder. We are not building projects. Number 3, he's the spiritual cover. And don't get me wrong, this is not about him controlling you. We've established since the beginning of time that women have an influence on men. If you trace down to Adam and Eve, Adam turned around for 1 minute, the serpent took Eve out for lunch, and she brought Adam a doggy back, which he ate. That's neither here nor there. Spiritual cover means that he is your shield. When the world comes at you, he is the bulletproof vest that is designed and equipped to protect you. He prays for you when you're too weak to pray for yourself, and he sees the blind spots that you are unable to see. And you see the difference? The old contract is about him protecting you from poverty. The new covenant is about him protecting you from a purposeless life. Because we don't need a man to survive anymore. We have the 401k. We have the house. What we need is a partner who makes us better. What we need is iron to sharpen iron. If he can't do that, then he's basically just a roommate with benefits. And realistically speaking, who needs that? But if it's a roommate you need, you can get a roommate off of Craigslist if that's what you really want. You don't need to marry him. So here's the pivot, ladies. Stop vetting for his wallet. A wallet can be faked, as in the case of Martin, aka the Danish prince. Stop vetting for the provider aesthetic. Instead, start vetting for purpose. Does he have a mission? Does he have a vision? And most importantly, does that vision align with yours? Because the truth is, he could have a vision to become the biggest thief in history. You don't want to be the partner of, the wife of, or the baby mama of the biggest thief in history. Unless that's what floats your boat. And if that's the case, then by all means, go at it, girl. But if the answer is no, then keep on with your singlehood. Protect your peace and prioritize your purpose, because being single and focused on your purpose is much better than being married to a man who is a glorified ATM with an attitude problem and unhealed childhood trauma. I want to know in the comment section, have you ever dated a provider who that's all he had to offer in the relationship? Are you still there in that relationship? If you are, tell us, how is it working? And if you made your way out of that relationship, tell us, why did you leave a relationship like that if it seemed that everything you needed was catered financially? Let's talk about this in the comment section so that we can either teach one another on how to get out of situations like that, or teach one another what is actually working about relationships like that. And I want us to discuss this because I need to issue a warning. There is a trend on social media among the Gen Z that is building on a very dangerous aesthetic when it comes to womanhood. This trend that is sweeping the internet claims to have all the answers for your struggle. They are calling it the soft life sprinkle the return to traditional values. Now ladies, be very careful, because this is not giving freedom. It's definitely not giving God's best or God's purpose for our life, but it is giving the same old survival contract, just with a brand new marketing team. It is giving the golden cage concept. And what we're seeing is women who are trading their autonomy and their values in return for being taken care of. So I have a question for you, and try to answer this question for me as honestly as you can in the comment section. Nobody will judge you, because the answer to this question will determine if you are ready for a kingdom marriage and a kingdom partner, or if you are simply looking for a sponsor. And what I want to clarify is, so if he pays for the car, he controls where you go. If he pays for the house, he controls who comes in. And if he controls the finances, does he then not control who or what you spend it on? So my question is this a partnership, or is this a purchase? So let's answer that question in the next video, which I'm titling The Soft Life Trap, Why It's Still Just Survival Dating. I'll see you in the next one.